Did you work while you were in college? If you did, how did you deal with money and students when you were young?
Yeah, this is a great question.
That's a question that is not in the script. How will you deal with students who has psycho problems, depression, a mental problem?
That's a great question. I would say that we also need to be very.
Did you have any troubles with your college professor? I don't know, any bad professor?
Okay, I would say that since I was young,
Okay. Hello, everyone. Today, I'm very glad to be recording this. I am with a very special guest. This is a project that I have been thinking for a few months, and I hope that everything goes well. It's to motivate or to increase my classmate, and also to help them to increase their motivation to stay into the major and to watch and observe what we can do as English speakers, not only as a professors. We can do much more than just teach. That's why I decided to record this podcast. And today I am here with my first guest, which is a person that I really admire. I love her work. How does she motivate her students? Well, basically, is my teacher, my teacher from the university. Her name is Fernanda. Nice to have you here, teacher.
thanks for having me, guys. Thank you very much. I'm glad that we're going to spend this time talking about my story and perhaps some tips on how you can, guys, keep with your career.
Okay, let's start. Yay! Okay, teacher. I have the honor today of speaking with you, a very recognized professor. And first, I would like to start with the beginning. It is what inspired you to become a teacher? Was there a specific moment or someone who motivated you to pursue this career?
All right, Samuel. I would say when I was in high school, I had great teachers, but being a teacher was not my choice, not at all. I went to the UTPL because I'm from Loja, and there I wanted to study something related to the social sciences. So I was studying journalism. And when my professor sent us to record an interview, I realized that my voice was horrible. So I thought, no, this is not the right place for me to be here. And I changed the major. So I went to public relations. I was there for a semester as well. But then something happened, and I needed to stay in education. So I didn't choose to be a teacher, to be honest. I wanted to do something different.
Oh, okay. That's amazing. I didn't know that you were a teacher. I thought that you were born like to be a great teacher. I never imagined that you didn't want to be a teacher. Uh, Another question, teacher, is that have you ever failed a semester when you were in the university?
Okay, thank you very much. Since when I was in primary school, secondary school, I come from a big family. So, and I'm the youngest. And my parents couldn't afford to pay for private education. So we needed to be very responsible, especially with my older sister. And I was studying, and she was the one who checked my homework and everything. So, no, I never failed a semester. And I think I was a really good influence. I was influencing actually other classmates at the university because when I studied at the UTPL, we were 8 people. Yeah, and they were not that great. And I was an average student, but still, I couldn't afford to fail a semester, as I said. And then my friends were like telling me, I don't want to fail a semester. I mean, I want to have my vacations as well. And I think it was pretty good. So I would say I was influencing them in a positive way.
Oh, okay. Wow. And what would you say to a student who is, I don't know, for example, is her third inscription in a career, and and you watch that he's gonna fail, he or she? What would you tell to that student? Any advice or any, I don't know, notice for you?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that in life, We always have options. And also that the people who's around us matter a lot. So you need to be with people who is passionate about what he or she is doing, people who care about you a lot, so that people will provide great advice. And also you need to realize that you are here in this world for a purpose. So invest your time, and I always say this to everybody: invest your time in the best way possible, because we don't have another life, and this is the only life we have. So we need to enjoy what we do, and also remember, people who are around you matter a lot.
Okay, thank you, teacher, for sharing that. Another question, teacher, is: did you work while you were in college? If you did, how did you deal with money and students when you were young?
Yeah, this is a great question. And yeah, when I was in third semester, I started working, and I wasn't like a good teacher, not at all. I was learning there. And I remember that my first salary, I got $99, and I was really happy. And as I told you, I come from a big family. I was the youngest. So I was helping my mom, like paying my university too, because my university was private. And I would say when you work and study at the same time, you need to organize your time pretty well, but you also need to sacrifice a lot of things. Sacrifices like you cannot hang out with your friends when you want. You cannot the activities that your friends are doing, but then you will get lots of rewards because you get to know people. You experience. What you're studying for. In my case, it was teaching.
Mhm. And also, I think that when you are working, you acquire some skills that works for you, even if you know use for teaching, but can help you in another things. Thank you, teacher. I have another question. I have some question prepared for you. Is did you have any troubles with your college professor? I don't know, any bad professor.
Okay. I would say that since I was young, I always thought that we can learn pretty good things from our professors, but also, even if we don't have good professors, we're still learning. So we can learn things that perhaps in the future we don't want to do, right? So I never had arguments with my professors because I respected them a lot. But since I was young, I was analyzing what my professors were doing. And when I started working, I realized the type of teacher I wanted to be. Yeah.
Okay, teacher. But you didn't have
Issues?
issues.
Never.
Right?
No.
Okay. Okay, that's good. That didn't happen with me. I will be very happy to say that I didn't have any troubles with professors here at the university, but I have.
Okay.
Another question, teacher, is that if someone helped you to grow as a person in college, as a classmate or a teacher, and I would like to share my experience. In this case, I have a classmate and also a professor that motivated me a lot. The example is you, teacher Fernanda, and also the teacher Mirdelio. He was my teacher in first semester. He was the last head of the major, I
Yeah.
guess. Could I say about teacher Mirdelio? He make me love, literally love, to how you can be a good teacher. I mean, the way of how Mirdelio talks. Uh, I don't know what what he has on his voice, but I really like to listen when he gives us indication. And I think that he is my example to follow to be a great teacher.
Yeah, I would say that, Mirdello is a great human being. And I always say that when we are great human beings, then we're awesome professionals too. So that is important. So regarding to the question that you asked, in college, yeah, I had a professor, Rosario Burneo. She was about to retire at that time, so that was sad. So I met her in first semester, and she helped me realize that I was good actually at explaining topics, and she helped me to take risks as well. So she said, "Hey, Fernanda, probably you can help this student, you can mentor that student." So little by little, I realized that, as you mentioned, it was not just about the knowledge, but other skills, like social skills. And I think, thanks to that teacher, I was developing those skills too.
Okay, thank you, teacher. Okay, let's pass to another segment of this recording. Is how do you connect and how you motivate to your students? It's fascinating. It was fascinating to hear about your story, teacher. Now I would like to know how do you motivate your students? How do you catch their attention when you were teaching a class?
Perhaps doing several things. First, to set clear goals, clear and achievable goals. So things that the students can notice that they can, as I said, achieve right in a short time. Something else is like connecting all the time. What I teach, I try to connect to their context, their real life, so then they realize that what they're learning here at the university is actually something that they will be using. About motivation, what I also do is like to try to use different strategies, and I've learned this with the experience. It's not what I like, but is I need to know my students from the very beginning, because once again, when we are working with our students, to me, what they say, what they think, and how they feel matters a lot. So I need to consider all of this to plan my classes and also to communicate to them.
Okay, that's it. That is very interesting. And how, that's a question that is not in the script. How will you deal with students who have psycho problems, depression, and mental problems?
That's a great question. I would say that we also need to be very humble with what we know as teachers. We're not psychologists, so we need to look for help, right? So help and opinions of professionals. So then they will guide us. They will tell us how can we approach to this kind of students. And after that, perhaps we can be talking to the student, or well, this is going to depend on the advice of a professional.
Okay, a great answer, teacher. And I would like to share another experience that I have. It's, as you said, that we are not psychologists. I remember that I was teaching in school, a third year, yeah, in the third year, and I have a child who has lost his mom. He lost his mom, and that was a great impact for me because I really, really didn't what I had to do in that time. I don't know if I did well, but I tried to be more comprehensible with her. She didn't want to did any activity because I mean he was a child who just lost his mom. I didn't know if I did well, but I tried to be very comprehensible with this girl. Uh, yeah, that was important.
Yeah, I understand. But we always need to look for experienced people and or professionals.
Yeah, I with the staff that we were in the school, we sent this girl to the to a psychologist, and I hope that they could do something for her.
Yeah.
Because it was very sad. It was in a community school which was very far from the city. I made a lot of cases, particular cases when I worked there. Thank you, teacher. Now we know that being a professor isn't easy, right? Isn't especially when commitments pile up. So, teacher, what do you do when you feel you can no longer manage your time well, or do you have troubles managing your time between your teacher activities and when you are not teaching? I mean, when you are a normal person.
Yeah, definitely, because I'm a procrastinator. And when I feel stressed, what I usually do now is to talk to my husband. So to me, that's like a therapy. Or I practice some mindfulness strategies like breathing, for example, listening to soft music. But before, I would say 6 months ago, my life and part of my routine was to practice CrossFit. And this is a great advice. I mean, university and studies is not your life. We need to balance this. You need to look for something that you're passionate about, perhaps walking or swimming. And in my case, it was doing CrossFit. Right now, I cannot practice CrossFit because I recently had a surgery. But in January, I'm planning to practice CrossFit again, for sure.
Okay, I didn't know that you did CrossFit.
Yeah.
That's a good. I think you always have to be moving because if you don't, your brain starts to die. That's what I
Exactly.
guess. And if you can do exercise, you can move your body. That's the most important part, I guess. Yeah, do not forget to to keep in shape. Thank you, teacher. Do you have any specific routine that you can share with us to follow, or you do just your thing day by day?
Well, I would say that before, like as I said, like 6 months ago, what I did was always to have good meals. Because if you train something, any sport, you really need to have good meals, like great breakfast, having lunch every single day, and then like exercise. That was my routine: exercise and then dinner, and then sleep. Sleep, you need to sleep at least 7 or 6 hours, not less. So, guys, I mean, if you're listening to this, please, this is important once again. University is just part of your life, but this is not your entire life.
Thank you, teacher. A great advice for us, I guess. And now we are finishing with the last part of this podcast is motivation and wish to follow. And I would like to ask you, teacher, have you ever felt that you don't want to teach anymore and feel like giving up as and pursue another dream? That have you ever feel that way?
So, Samuel, I would say this is part of our nature as humans. And in my particular case, I feel that way that I don't want to teach. And that happens to me when I am in a routine, when I'm teaching perhaps the same thing. Well, that happened to me before, but here in UNAI, I like it because every semester is very challenging with students, even if I'm teaching the same class. But I always try to incorporate new resources, new activities. Just like now, for example, we cannot use the projector, so then we need to be using something else. Or I've been blessed as well with the classes that I've been teaching because that is pushing me to be reading more, to be learning more. So I would say it's not just moving your body like doing exercise, right? But also your mind should be active all the time. And I feel motivated when I learn something extra. So.
Okay, thank you very much for share that, teacher. Thank you so much, teacher, for sharing your experiences and your advices. We are almost finished to this. So, do you have any final advice for the students who are thinking to leave this career and to follow another dream?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we need to know ourselves pretty well. So this is something that I will tell you. Think about what you really want in life. Once again, this is not a rehearsal. This here you're not in a life that you're practicing for another one. This is one only life that we have. So if you're not passionate about teaching now, but perhaps you're here, right, in Pine. Well, I would say that you can start observing a little bit more what your professors are doing. You can go to practicum as well, and then you can decide. Don't decide this now just because you couldn't perhaps approve a class, or perhaps you're having some issues now with a professor. Just remember that you need to fulfill a purpose in life. And perhaps it's this, teaching. Remember that at the beginning, that wasn't my plan, but then I'm very grateful. I think I'm in the right track, and my life is the best. So I love it. I love what they do. I love teaching.
Love it, teacher. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if I have to say something, is that literally us as a teacher, we have the power to change the world. How? We are literally teaching the new generations that become after us. We can adjust as we want the skills or the abilities that we want in our kids, in our future kids. And us as a teacher can do much more, as our teacher said. We can do much more than just teach to a student. And yeah, that's all. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Samuel. Samuel, sorry, it was my pleasure.
Okay, and I hope that you have enjoyed what you have watched. If you have any suggestion or comments, or if you want to see another teacher here, do not forget to comment that.